Good evening, and welcome to the Albright Scholar for May 2019. My name is John Pankratz. I teach history at Albright, and each month it's my privilege to welcome BCTV viewers and residents of Greater Reading to take a glimpse inside our learning community up here on North 13th Street, to look at the work being done by teachers and students, and to think about its impact on all of us. Well, we're almost at the end of the school year. Commencement is just 5 days away, and I know people are looking forward to it with mixed emotions. Just last weekend, we held our annual Honors and Award ceremony at Albright, and I'm fortunate to have with me three graduating seniors who really cleaned up. That is, they earned some wonderful awards along with perhaps 100 other students. And we're going to talk to them about their accomplishments, about some of their Albright memories, and have them talk about their classmates as well. I'm here with Emily Durrell, Senior Communications and History dual major. Yes. Zoe Gaiman, a Math and Chemistry major, and Natalie Torpy, a Theater major. Congratulations to all of you on reaching the end of your Albright career and winning some wonderful prizes. Emily, you won a number of prizes. You probably could have won more, but you got the Gold A and the Alumni Graduation Honor for the greatest single contributions to the class. And I know you've all three been on the show before because you also did an ACRE. Mm-hmm. Was that a big part of your Albright memory?
Absolutely. I was very, very privileged to work closely with two separate faculty members who very, very generously and diligently mentored me through 2 years worth of independent study. And that was just so rewarding to be able to do something outside of the classroom that was self-initiated, and I could do it on my own time and put my own passion into it and really let the faculty steer me where I needed to be.
No, it was really wonderful. You were set up in your own space in Masters Hall, and in there spending hours every week going over historical postcards and thinking about what they represented in two different cultures. But you were also a super busy person. You were tutoring in the Writing Center. You were singing with the Albright Angels and the choir for all 4 years. You appeared in Domino Players production as well. So it's not as if you were locked away someplace.
And I mean, I feel very lucky to be able to dabble in all those different things, and that was an absolute privilege to get to have a hand in lots of different things and not have to have one silo to occupy. So I was very fortunate in that way.
Right. Now, Zoe, you had lots to do as well in a couple different academic departments, and I know you took plenty of other classes because I had you in class as well. While you're a math major, chemistry turned out to be your area of research and discovery, right?
Yep. I did an ACRE, and I participated in a research project starting in my sophomore year here within the chemistry department with Dr. Pirro. And that kind of just gave me the glimpse into, do I want to do graduate school or not?
Yeah.
I always thought I wanted to pursue graduate school based on the fact that I just wanted to continue learning and keep up the chemistry knowledge. But then there's also the huge research aspect that goes with grad school, which I had never experienced before. But luckily, I had really good experiences here at Albright with my ACREs and all my other research that I've done here that made me want to pursue that.
Just the discovery part of it, but also I think you're really gifted at explaining some pretty abstruse chemistry to a general audience. In addition to that, you were also a really active campus citizen, and you won the Muhlenberg Prize for community service and a spirit of altruism.
Yes. I feel really, really grateful to have received that. I was not expecting that at all. But it's nice to see that people actually see, especially what all of us students do on campus and how much we contribute to the campus.
You're a member of a remarkable organization called AFIO, right?
Yep.
And they're the service, co-ed service fraternity. And a lot of science students and others are members of that and put in lots of hours of work.
Yes, extremely grateful for that organization here on this campus. I've made so many friends through AFIO. It's given me so many people that I've just been able to open up and talk to within, since there are so many science majors and that have graduated, and that it's given me now this opportunity to look to them as more like a networking aspect and like a mentor now into the future.
Exactly. And you pass down that tradition as well. Good. Natalie, you're a star of the Albright stage, really. Since day one, even before day one, you were coming up to see productions at Albright. In your freshman year, you were honored by the Kennedy Center for the outstanding performance by an actress in a play for your role in Clybourne Park, and got to spend a week down at the Kennedy Center as a result of that, which was great. But you haven't stopped ever since. You've been in almost every production we've staged in the years that followed.
Yeah, and it's been the greatest experience. I've gotten to play so many different roles, and I remember my sophomore year, I contemplated leaving and going to a conservatory because I really wanted to hone in on my craft. But I think something that kept me at Albright was this idea of the liberal arts, right? And this idea that I need to be a well-rounded person in order to play well-rounded characters, and so that's what had me stay. And what a blessing too, because so many opportunities came afterwards. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite role?
Oh, well, my favorite role and my favorite project, they're very different. My favorite role was Ruth in The Pirates of Penzance. It was really out of my comfort zone vocally.
Right. A little lower voice.
Lower resonance. And also, she was much older. But I think I was just enthralled by the choices I had with Ruth. And then sort of at the end, I got to come out as this badass pirate woman. And, wearing the boots and wearing the hat on stage with a bunch of men felt very fulfilling to me. And I love the story. And stylistically, the way it was directed, I mean, the entire production. So it was just great to be in. But my favorite project had to be My Acre with Connor McLaughlin. Where I played Marianne in a two-topper play called Constellations, and she was an astrophysicist suffering with cancer. So that project was very intimate because we designed it as a trio, Jeff Lenz, Connor McLaughlin, and I. And the intimacy of the project, being in the rehearsal room every day so closely with one another and taking steps together, was really rewarding at the end, and it felt like our child. It felt like a baby. It did.
Right. No, I had both you and Connor on the show talking about that acre and
Yeah.
all that you learned about cosmology and parallel universes and
Yeah.
multiverses and that sort of thing. So yeah,
was incredible.
that liberal arts tradition that you're learning physics
Yeah.
as you're preparing theater.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's. You mentioned Jeff Lenz, and I know that he's been your great mentor here.
My great mentor.
Zoe, what about you? You've worked with several different teachers.
Yeah, I definitely think within the chemistry department, all of the professors and basically everybody that works there is just so willing to talk to you and help you with whatever you need. So like while my research mentor was Dr. Pirro, I've had immense amounts of help from Dr. Arts, Dr. Sontag, Dr. Ryle, Dr. Hammond. They've all helped so much. And then within the math department, I just know like I can always look to them if I need anything. They're always there to support me. Like even though I'm not going into the math field, they all want to know like what am I going to be doing after graduation.
Right. It's that sort of place. We're not possessive. We don't say, "Oh, this is my student. Nobody else can talk to her."
No.
We all take pride in the accomplishments of students who are really eager to learn. And Emily, you've mentioned Dr. Dusion, but you worked with folks in communications, but other people around campus.
Yeah, I've worked very closely with Professor Dusion and Dr. Heidi Mao. They've been my academic advisors as well as my ACRE advisors, as well as my senior thesis readers. So we've spent a lot of time together, and they've been so incredibly generous with their time. They've driven me to conferences. But also Dr. Turning in history has been my senior seminar professor, and she's just been an incredible role model for me. I worked so closely with Professor Binger during his time here.
That's right.
And, I was so fortunate to have, gotten 3.5 years with him. and even just the little itty bitty classes here and there that I've taken with everyone, Dr. Morris, Professor Gilliams, I mean, because our class sizes are so small and because our professors are absolutely here to serve, I feel like, there's never been a class that's gone by where I haven't, felt very in tune, maybe not in tune, but, very close to my professors.
Connected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think even administrators, if we were to ask Karen Campbell or Jackie Fetro about students they admire, all three of you would come up and they recognize and know your work and have seen that.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to work closely with Dr. Samantha Wessner over in the Student Campus Life Division as her intern there. And I know that I'm forgetting so many people, and I sure hope they're not watching. But I mean, the list just goes on and on. We are so lucky at Albright to have people who absolutely treasure us.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we talk a little bit about some of your fellow seniors who also won prizes? That'll be fun to do. You had mentioned your work on constellations with Connor McLaughlin. He's up on the screen here. Connor is a theater and math major, and he won a prize in both theater, and then also he won the Gold A as well. Connor, memories?
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Freshman year, he would sprint around campus in a trench coat and just...
And
he was
flip-flops.
Yes, and was just a blur of red hair, and he just looked like this wild man that could not possibly be a 17-year-old starting college. And then people started to be like, oh, that's just Connor. And then he really, settled in and blossomed incredibly.
yeah, Connor has been my greatest co-actor that I've ever worked with. He's brilliant. He's logical. He's thoughtful. He's incredibly creative. But when Connor came to the school, I think he shocked us all, just with an energy that I've never seen before. But he constantly learns how to craft that energy and hone it to the things that he needs to. And so I think the stage is a home for him,
It
absolutely,
really
that
is.
welcomes
No,
him with open
and-
arms.
And some of the characters he
Right.
created were just unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Most recently Sweeney Todd, but
Right.
Dr. Pangloss and Candide, and,
Yeah.
and the very model of a modern Major General as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see who else we have here. Oh, Enosh. Enosh won the Anthony Snitzer Prize that was chosen by the Brothers of Alpha Sig for someone they saw as an outstanding senior.
I love that. I don't know Enosh very well. I've hung out with him a few times off campus, but I have been in the studio with him while he's working on his music
Right.
with a friend of ours named Veronica. And I think he's a very considerate and thoughtful individual, cares very much about his work and the quality of his work as well, and what he has to offer to an audience.
Yeah. He's
So-
in the field of music industry studies.
Yeah.
But he was also a football player and then
That's
a
right. Mm-hmm.
student football coach this past year as well. Marina Nye, your fellow history major.
She is just so fun to be in a history senior seminar with because she's always, her brain is always on.
Yes.
And she's always ready to go with a hand, whether it's to, help a peer flesh out an idea or to prompt someone to explore a different dimension of something that they're studying. And just an incredibly engaged and positive person. I've never seen her without a smile on her face.
Yeah, she's a big picture historian, and she changed from being a costume designer to being a full-time historian, and she's going on in the field of sartorial history.
Yes.
And she was a wonderful costume designer.
Oh, she really has talent.
She does. And what an icon. What an icon. Pink all of the time. I love it. I really do. She
Yeah.
brands
Well,
herself.
she's a special person. Alex Papoutsis.
She always looks like that with her,
Right.
smiling ear to ear, for sure, for sure.
And she did a little of everything.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
was a great student in accounting, but active in her sorority and with Pops on the steering committee,
Right.
and had an appearance in Candide as well.
Yeah.
And so impressive to do so as a commuter.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. A beautiful poet.
Yeah.
Beautiful poet.
And she has a job. Oh, that's you. Let's go back.
You can skip that.
Heather McQuarrie was president of SGA this past year and a golfer.
I just adore Heather. She is such a sharp individual. You know, she's just so quick-witted and keen to always, you know, be on top of things, and a very, very compassionate and considerate young lady. We've started to chat a little more towards the end of senior year, and it's like, oh shoot,
Right.
moving to Texas, it stinks, but she's
Yeah,
just
who
such
knows? You may meet some people just this
Hey.
week who you
Yeah.
wish
Yeah.
that you had gotten to know better.
such a neat person.
Heather's originally from Arizona, and yet is here in PA. Kennedy Lutz. I know Kennedy Lutz. She is child and family studies and early childhood education major, and won an award as the outstanding student teacher in early childhood education. She's also a soccer player.
Wow.
And so we saw that. You guys aren't athletes, but so many of the top students in their departments play a sport.
Yeah.
And that says something both about them as individuals, but
Yeah.
also the kind of sports programs that we have here.
What a rigorous balancing act.
Exactly. I think you have to be good at juggling time. And so you really learn that skill. Alyssa Cates is a psychology student, and she won a prize both for service to psychology, but also the Olson Award as the outstanding resident assistant.
Always delighted to share her research. She's, you know, been at every Acre Luncheon I've ever been at, and it's just, you know, explains illusions and child development concepts that could have gone right over my head, but very, very thoughtful in that way.
Yeah, and she's just a really good student in all her courses. I've had her in a couple classes. Whitney Jefferson. Well,
Whitney.
love Whitney.
Yeah. Whitney was in London last semester too, and she had a
Right.
great time there. Yeah. I know Whitney's a very hardworking individual, strong. Yeah.
Vivacious.
Yeah, she won the Music Industry Studies Award, and she's going off to Carnegie Mellon University for a master's degree in entertainment studies.
How impressive.
So I think she'll do really well. Jennifer Height
Jen.
couldn't be with us tonight, but I know a couple of you
That's
have
okay.
sung with her.
Just the neatest person to talk to.
Yeah.
Just so thoughtful about everything she does, and she never does anything halfway.
No.
And she's very, very deliberate about then choosing what to put her energy into. And I think that's something that a lot of our peers who are high achievers have a hard time doing, but she's really mastered that.
Yeah, and has done something of everything. Kaylin Hahn is a biology student.
I just have to say, like, Kaylin has jumped into her, like, biology research so much within this past year. I just couldn't imagine starting, like, because she does research within, like, other disciplines. To try to start something your senior year going into it, I would have never had the amount of motivation she had to just jump into it the way she did.
Yeah, she's a volleyball player. She's a flutist in the concert band.
Her senior thesis is in Spanish.
Wrote it in Spanish.
What? Yeah.
And she's always smiling like that,
Yes.
too. I don't know how that happens. Hadi Njaige.
Oh, I don't know.
Hadi, to talk with my business colleagues, they think the world of her. She won one of the Dearden Awards in economics, and she grew up in Dakar, Senegal, my old hometown, but then moved with her family to Reading, did her associate's degree at RAC, and then transferred to Albright, and has just been a star student and an extremely helpful student to other students. So she's sort of an unofficial tutor there in Rossner Hall as well. But a really courageous individual and intellectually alive. Stephen Gosh is a fellow Gold A winner.
Just a darling person.
Oh my gosh. You can just count on Steven for anything.
Yep.
Any time of day you need something, Steven's just one of those people who he just cares so much about everybody and everything.
Yeah, I think that says it. Morgan Gilbert. Morgan is a Spanish and fashion dual major. She's also a member of the dance team and has been for all 4 years, and that's a great organization.
Yeah.
Since we don't have a dance department at Albright, those students just bring all their eagerness and talent and willingness to learn to that enterprise. It's a great organization. There's Zoe.
There's Zoe.
Kayla Geary, another fashion student.
She and Morgan both won awards at our most recent fashion showcase.
Yes, she did.
Very, very talented.
Yep, yep. And somebody who's really grown into the department, has become quite a leader. Ben Foreman.
Here's
Well, I don't know.
Ben.
Does anybody know him?
Now, Ben is another commuter who's worked very, very hard to be engaged on campus, and he's also been working part-time and had his hands in a lot of different things. So he's worked extremely hard this semester and always has that smile.
Yep. He won the Dearden Award in marketing. He did he did senior honors thesis research. He's captain of the golf team.
He sure is.
And he's a really hell of a percussionist and always willing to play. He plays with a concert band and jazz band, but if you need drums behind you, he'll do it.
Okay. If you need anything behind you, he'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Spirit of service, that one.
Alma,
Speaking of,
Alma Felix, she won the Muhlenberg along with Zoe.
Yeah. I have a small anecdote about Alma. One night, Alma invited me for dinner, and I had never really hung out with Alma before. And she cooked this amazing Spanish meal. And, you know, she's just feeding a table full of people, and she's not eating herself. And finally, when we're all settled, she sits down at the table and she eats. And I think it's a good, it's a great anecdote to sort of represent how
metaphor
Alma
for-
works,
yeah.
right? So she's always in service to others.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's Emily. Tony Deacon Bradnick is an English major and a future English teacher.
yeah, I had the pleasure of working with her as a writing tutor, and
Oh, right.
such a amazing combination of she's so incredibly mature but incredibly youthful and spirited, and a very, very insightful young lady.
Great reader of texts. Kelly Sombrali is shortstop on the softball team, the really winning softball team, but also won awards in both psychology and in biology. So an A student in
great.
both those fields. Erica Bross won the Pre-Law Award and the Political Science Award, and she too was an All-MAC first team selection in soccer for 3 years in a row.
Yeah, our soccer team must be doing something right.
I think they're attracting just the right kinds of student athletes. Catherine Betts, Zoe, you must know her.
Yes, the math department, we all basically all take the same classes. Catherine is one of the just most she's always willing to figure things out. She's just one of those people where we get stuck on a hard problem. She's always the one that's willing to push through and figure it out, and she's never going to just give in.
And Nordia Beckford, she won the Sam Sahi Award for an international student. And she's originally from Jamaica, but she's sort of a really busy campus citizen, member of a sorority, very active in both environmental studies and also in public health. I think she has a dual major in those fields as well. And then who else do I have? I think we've gotten to the start of the alphabet. You know this Will Adams fellow?
I might know him.
Yeah. Any award in chemistry that you didn't win, he won, and vice versa. And he actually graduated in December. And I've known him for a good part of his life, primarily as a fellow cellist. And so he's just a multi-talented and brilliant fellow who's already off in grad school. Speaking of grad schools and the future, Zoe, I know you're headed off to Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yep.
Mr. Jefferson's University.
Yes.
That should be a great place to study chemistry.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I made some good connections with faculty already, so I'm hoping to pursue them.
Great. And Natalie, you're probably heading off to New York and Connecticut and
Well, I'm going to go back to Philadelphia and begin to audition.
Yeah.
It's a simple plan, but it's strategic, I think, just to start building my resume, hopefully get my equity card soon.
Yeah.
And then I'll begin to travel.
excellent, excellent. And Emily, you're headed not as far south as Zoe, but to your home state of Maryland.
Yeah, I'll be moving back to Annapolis. I'm really excited. I'll be joining Governor Hogan's press team there, and I'll be working in the Maryland State House.
How great. And a beautiful state house it is.
Yes. Let's hope it's climate controlled for the summer.
What
That's
a-
something I can't anticipate.
What a charming town it is.
Yes, I'm very fond of it, absolutely.
Great. And we're all looking forward to commencement on on Saturday?
Bittersweet, absolutely.
It is bittersweet.
No, it is. I like to say that every spring I feel like a senior, and every fall I feel like a freshman again. But it's I understand. Alma mater has a
Yeah.
real hold, and especially you people who have thrived here
Yeah.
and brought so much to the school and set such a great example for the students that follow.
And thank you, John, for
Yeah.
all your service and being sort of the eye of campus. We're really lucky to have you.
Yeah, I try to be
us
appreciative of
together.
all the work that's being done here. Great. Thanks for being my guest on the show, and
Thank you
good
for
luck.
having
And
us.
we'll,
Having us.
we'll see you on Friday and Saturday as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you as well for joining us on this edition of the Albright Scholar. We'll see you again in another month and welcome you back to the Albright Scholar.